Let's get Bill in Florida as our next caller. Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, Eddie. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Thank you.
Hey, look, I was wanting to talk to you about a band that was out of Texas. I'm not sure if ZZ Top had something to do with them, but they were on the Lone Wolf label. They're called Point Blank. You ever heard of that band?
I have heard of them. Was the song Last Chance? Maybe? I don't remember what their song, the semi-hit was. Or maybe I'm thinking of Shooting Star.
No, Shooting Star was Hang On For Your Life Tonight. It was Mean to Your Queen and Cadillac Dragon.
Okay. But no, I mean, I remember
that.
I remember the name Point Blank, Bill, but I don't remember any specifics about them. And I maybe even remember seeing an album cover, but I don't know much about them. What do you, what are your recollections?
Phenomenal guitar players. Both of them had two great guitar players, a singer, the kind of bluesy southern rock sound. Fantastic band. They did a cover. They did a great cover of Highway Star on one of their albums. They're just a great band, and I just thought they could have been a lot bigger. They were, ZZ Top sounding, really, really good guitar work.
Point Blank. Yeah, I'll try to pull some stuff up. And thank you, Bill, for the call. And again, I'll mention this, and I mentioned it yesterday, and just like I mentioned Mark's website, what he just ran with off of yesterday's last couple shows. And trust me, folks, I'm not saying this for any ulterior reasons whatsoever. I have nothing to do with this company or their website or anything. But because so much of my audience loves talking about these almost made it sort of bands, that company in England, Rock Candy Records, so many of these bands that we're talking about, they've reissued their CDs. So if these sort of things jog your memory and you're like, man, I'd love to get that on CD, I had it on cassette or 8-track or whatever, that's what they specialize in. And a lot of these groups that are coming up, like, trying to find where it is. Hold on. Wait, let me do this. Wait 1 second. I feel like that listener when he tried to put me on hold on my own show. I'm going to find it during the break. So anyway, Rock Candy takes an ad out in the British rock magazines of their latest releases. I want to read some of them down because the whole list is going to be like bands that should have been huge, just to show what I'm talking about. As far as finding this stuff, because that's the other challenge. Some of it's not even available on streaming. Larry in Oklahoma. Hey, Larry.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm nice seeing you in Shawnee a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Larry and I hung for a little bit at the Deep Purple show in Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Blown away by Ian Gillan. There's nobody that's even close to him at 72 years old. It's just unreal.
It was a great night for him, man. I mean, I spent a lot of time with those guys, Larry, but he was really strong that night. And I talked to him about it after the show, and he said it was early in the tour and he was really feeling rested, and it showed.
I'll be in Tulsa. I'm going to drive up to Tulsa to see you here in a couple of weeks whenever the Iron Maidens are up there. And I guess it's a month now or so, but I'm looking forward. I've always wanted, as far as cover bands go, I've always wanted to see that one, and I've always wanted to see the Atomic Punks.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's the show with Vixen at the IDL, but you should also consider, I know it's a couple-hour ride for you, but you should really consider coming to Last in Line, which I think is the 19th.
The 19th, okay.
Yeah, people who have not seen Last in Line live. It's Vivian Campbell, obviously, from Def Leppard. It's Vinny Appice. They're a powerful band, great vocals. They do some Dio stuff. The 2 studio records they made are really good. People should not sleep on Last in Line if you get a chance to see them, because with Vivian's schedule with Def Leppard, they can't play all that often. But when they do, they're playing really small places, and it's a cool show. They're a really great band.
I was blown away by Joyous Wolf. I went out there in the lobby there and met the singer. I think it's Nick Reese before in between shows or whatever. And that dude, as far as energy goes. And his voice, the voice that little guy puts out is unreal. I mean, you talk about rival sons, and he's in his own league too. But this dude for Joyous Wolf, he can sing. He started doing flips out there in the lobby out there. There was nobody out there, and he was doing forward and backward flips out there. This dude is like maybe the most energetic guy I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think there's probably going to have to be some balance created there a little bit as he goes forward, because it might become a bit of a novelty thing if he does it too much. I know when he took the stage, for people that don't know what Larry's talking about, if you've seen this new young band, Joyous Wolf, and they are very good, the singer like literally does somersaults and handstands and stuff on stage while he's playing. And I talked to him about it when we had them on the show, before the show Larry and I were at in Oklahoma, and he said that he doesn't care, like that's going to become his thing, and he wants to be made, he wants people to remember him, and that's how he's going to make his mark. And when they took the stage that night and I introduced him, he turned around to me and he said, "Eddie, make sure you watch in the first 20 seconds. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? And he came out and he did some sort of like handstand or something after I introduced him.
Well, like whenever I was out in the lobby, we were just talking about Rival Sons and all the new bands. And he really likes Rival Sons a lot. It's probably his favorite new band, he said. That's not Joyous Wolf. But I was talking to him about just new bands. And I told him about I said, man, your energy blows me away. And like I said, that's when he started. He did like 10 backward flips in a row. And I was like, are you kidding me? This dude is not even he's not even performing for anybody except for me. And he's doing these backward flips. I mean, it's just it was unreal. But hey, I was going to ask you one more thing. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but you were talking about big tours that are coming up and stuff that you can't talk about. Iron Maiden / Priest. Have you heard about that one?
No, honestly, no. That is neither of those bands are even in the even of the ones that I even not at all what I'm talking or thinking about at all. Yeah.
Is that a possibility? You think? Is that because
I don't think so.
They're not past all their stuff, you don't think, or?
I'd really, really, really be shocked. Thank you, Larry, for the call. As always, I would be shocked. I mean, I know that's a fantasy sort of tour for most metal fans. Priest, Maiden, again. I say again because way in the early 80s they did tour together and they haven't since. But I just don't see it happening. And the reason why, one of the biggest reasons why, and if I'm just, again, being honest, which always, honesty is a very dangerous thing to a lot of people when you talk about this business sometimes, but if I'm being totally honest, one of the big sticking points would be, as it is with most tours, trying to put something together, money and billing. And the simple reality of it is Iron Maiden are a far bigger draw right now and have been for a long time around the world than Judas Priest. So do you think Judas Priest, who predates Iron Maiden, and to me, I've always felt is the second most important band after Black Sabbath to metal, you think they're going out opening and taking less money for Iron Maiden? Because there's no way Iron Maiden would open for them because Iron Maiden is a bigger band. That's not stirring the pot. That's not shit talking. That's simple fact. In terms of draw and attendance and guarantees and money and merch and everything, every box. It's not about who's better. It's not about who you like better. It's not about who's more influential. It's just simple business. And business is what is the second word in music business. And that plays a huge role on why things do and do not happen. So Priest, from their perspective, and I totally get it, as sort of founding fathers here, are they going to be comfortable going out playing second fiddle and billing and money to Maiden? Now, here's if you want to pull this apart a little bit further, something that's pretty interesting that could bode well for this maybe happening one day. So I'm going to argue bring a counter argument here. And I was shocked to see this for the reasons I just said. But Judas Priest are opening for Ozzy Osbourne in Europe. they're billed as special guests, but they're opening. They're the opening act. They're the first band before Ozzy. There's no other way to say it. Special guest to Ozzy Osbourne. And that tour was supposed to happen this year, and then when Ozzy blew everything out and rescheduled for next year, it's still like that. So if you got Priest in a place where they're willing to play a special guest slot to Ozzy, not Sabbath, to Ozzy solo, maybe anything is possible. Because the thing that's changed is, sadly and tragically, Priest do not have Glenn Tipton, for the most part, actively involved in touring with the band. So if you're going to go out there and assuming they're not going to bring KK back, which when KK was on a couple weeks ago, he said there's been no communication. KK had a great line. I said, "You've been in touch with anybody in the Priest camp?" He goes, "No, you can't shop in the store when the door is locked to you," or something he said along those lines. But assuming that, the other thing is you've got a Judas Priest that's down to just Rob and Ian as original members. So maybe that gets factored in terms of a logic for accepting what the billing is. I don't know. Can only pull it apart from what the facts bear out. But if you look at it from the standpoint of Iron Maiden, they're playing, in some cases, multiple nights in arenas with no name support act. Steve Harris's Kid, which nobody knows who they are yet. And they're doing unbelievable business around the world. Stadiums, festivals, arenas. What are you worried about co-headlining with anybody with? You don't need to. You literally don't need to. If you notice, Iron Maiden doesn't even play the American rock festivals. They're not on any of them. I asked their manager that. He goes, "We don't need to. Why would we do that? We control our own show. It's our stage. It's 2 hours. It's our thing. We fill the building. Why do we need to go do that?" So they're kind of on their own planet right now. And they have been for a really long time. But a lot of people, myself included, would love to see it. But I would not hold my breath.